Greetings, fellow Taoists, and welcome back to 1991 Review. In the previous episode's recap, after Butcher and the Dark Reverend, the Blind Man, departed, the trio of Qin Mu, Ling Yuxiu, and Wu Linger immediately mounted the Green Bull Divine Beast, rapidly racing toward the border pass. While riding the beast, Qin Mu took the opportunity to check the wound on Ling Yuxiu's waist. The princess shyly lifted her silk robe, revealing her jade-white waist, and said bashfully, "The wound is healed, not even a scar is left." However, Qin Mu's fine senses detected a slight raised mark. He told her not to move and immediately circulated his green dragon primordial qi, pure yet domineering, helping her unblock her qi and blood circulation and disperse the remaining congestion. The flow of primordial energy made Ling Yuxiu feel ticklish, causing her to giggle uncontrollably. Seeing this, Qin Mu reminded her in a deep voice, "Be patient for a moment. It will hurt a little next." A moment later, the congealed blood was forced out. Qin Mu carefully wiped it clean, and the small raised scar indeed vanished without a trace. Witnessing this miraculous healing art, Ling Yuxiu exclaimed in pleasant surprise, "Divine healer, I still have a few old wounds on my back." Before she could finish her sentence, Wu Linger quickly interjected, "I already applied medicine to the wounds on your back, sister. The congestion has long since dispersed. There won't be any scars." Hearing this, Ling Yuxiu shot the little fox a sidelong glance, cursing inwardly, "Truly a vixen." Instantly, a war of words between Her Highness the Princess and the little vixen officially began. Wu Linger asked with an air of innocence, "Sister Yuxiu, how old are you this year?" Ling Yuxiu also asked suspiciously, "How old are you?" The little fox replied confidently, "I am 12. Ling Yuxiu answered honestly, "I am 16. Waiting just for that, Wu Linger immediately launched her killing blow, saying coquettishly, "In that case, you are 1 year older than my young master." Ling Yuxiu was struck by the move, feeling deeply wounded. She realized this little fox was extremely flirtatious, crawling into Qin Mu's warm blankets every night. Deciding to counterattack, Ling Yuxiu smiled sweetly. "Little sister Ling, why haven't you transformed into human form yet?" Wu Linger activated absolute defense, narrowing her eyes to reply, "The young master likes it this way." Ling Yuxiu attacked again. "Your pupils don't seem to be the same as ours." Wu Linger calmly parried again, "The young master likes it this way." After several rounds, Ling Yuxiu was completely defeated. She inwardly fumed, wondering where on earth this vixen had learned such coquettish habits, not knowing that Wu Linger had been tutored by the ladies of Listening Rain Pavilion. In the end, Ling Yuxiu could only console herself. She was a high and mighty princess, a noble lady with a curvaceous body. There was no need to compete with a small fox that hadn't even taken human form. Just then, Bashan Tetu, sacrificial wine of Bashan, caught up from behind. As soon as he saw Qin Mu's group, he began to wail miserably, complaining about being abandoned by his senior brother Heavenly Knife. Qin Mu reluctantly tried to console him. "Old sir, it's not that he didn't think of you. He just finds you too talkative. Your incessant rambling is annoying. Stop crying. We're almost at the border pass. How can the Marshal Khan, Bo-Kahan? Let people see him in this state." Being consoled, Bashan Tetu began to ramble even more. He recounted all sorts of stories from his youth following Heavenly Knife, from bedwetting and being punished, to washing Heavenly Knife's underwear, to the time the master and disciple went to steal ducks. Qin Mu looked utterly helpless, sending a pleading gaze to Ling Yuxiu, but she could only shake her head apologetically, willing but powerless to help. Meanwhile, at the Imperial College, the young patriarch silently packed his belongings. He hung his official seal on the door, then departed down the mountain with the law enforcement elder. At the foot of the mountain, he decided to dissolve the contract, setting the dragon Qilin free. The divine beast, the dragon Qilin, was reluctant, saying sadly, "Old master, if I don't follow you, where else can I go?" The young patriarch's voice was low. "My lifespan is almost its end. I cannot bring you along. You are free now." Outside the capital, Imperial Preceptor Yen Kong was already waiting, wishing to escort the young patriarch for a stretch of the journey. On the road, Jiang Baike confessed frankly, "Knowing you must leave, my heart feels empty. In this world, the one who understands me best is you." The young patriarch replied calmly, "Your ambitions are vast and grand. I have nothing left to teach you." Knowing he couldn't detain him, the Imperial Preceptor asked in a deep voice, "Why did you not accept me as your disciple back then?" The patriarch replied, "I realized you were more outstanding than me, that your future accomplishments would surely surpass mine. I also learned a great deal from you." The Imperial Preceptor asked again, "The path we are walking, is it the righteous path?" The patriarch stopped, looked straight into the Imperial Preceptor's eyes, and replied with conviction, "In the eyes of the so-called righteous path, the path we walk is not the righteous path. But in our hearts, this is the righteous path. You need not care what others say. What is right is right. Imperial Preceptor Yen Kong was shaken. He bowed his head low, performing a formal salute. Thank you, fellow Taoist, for your support this half-lifetime. The young patriarch returned the salute, then turned and departed with the law enforcement elder, vanishing into the distance. Gazing far away, he said solemnly, Let's go. It is time for the young cult master to ascend the throne. The scene changes back to Qin Mu's group. They had arrived at the barbarian tribe's border camp. The barbarian chief saw Ba Shantae to return and immediately came forward to report. Marshal Khan, the sacred ground has issued an order. You are not permitted to exit the pass. Ba Shantae shot him an imposing glance, a cold light flashing in his eyes, and barked. Are you tired of living? The barbarian chief trembled. Seeing the surrounding martial generals also looking terrified, he had no choice but to grit his teeth and order, Open the gate. At this time, riding the green bull, Qin Mu noticed a barbarian youth practicing his forms on the gate tower, his foundation extremely solid. The youth saw someone watching him, raised his head, and shouted loudly, Marshal Khan, my name is Ban Gongswa, the youngest son of the Steppe King. In the future, I will definitely surpass you. Ba Shantae turned his head and praised, Ambitious, a seed with a decent foundation. Just as Qin Mu's group disappeared from view, a shaman king tore through the void and descended. He was about to fly into a rage when his gaze was suddenly drawn to Ban Gongswa. The shaman king was instantly overjoyed. He pointed at the youth and asked, Whose child is that? The chief hurriedly replied, Reporting that is Prince Ban Gongswa. The shaman king laughed heartily. Excellent aptitude. This is the reincarnated saintly child that the shaman Grand Reverend Wu Tun is searching for. Finishing his words, he waved his hand. An invisible suction force erupted. Ban Gongswa was snatched remotely, flew straight towards him, and was taken away by the shaman king in a streak of golden light. At the Lulan Golden Palace, the shaman Grand Reverend personally inspected and confirmed that Ban Gongswa possessed a sacred physique rarely seen in 100 years. Immediately, the Grand Reverend Dai Tun did not delay. His figure flew out, and he began performing a secret art, pouring his own soul and essence into Ban Gongswa's body. As he performed the ritual, he warned, I am defying heaven to change fate. The Een messengers from another world will surely come to reap my soul. Set up the great formation immediately. The shaman Grand Reverend Wu Tun immediately took out the 17 golden skeletons of the 17 previous Grand Reverends to lay the formation. In an instant, a nether wind howled, and a small netherworld boat flew out from the dark void. On the boat, an old man was meticulously crafting paper people and paper horses. He waved his hand, and countless paper people and paper horses, holding paper sabers and paper swords and carrying an overwhelming aura of death, rushed towards the 17 golden skeletons. The paper sabers, seemingly fragile, were incomparably sharp, capable of severing even the bones of a god-level being. The shaman Grand Reverend desperately maintained the formation. The old man on the netherworld boat stood up, holding a lantern, and stretched his withered arm out from the world of darkness, intending to seize the Grand Reverend. Suddenly, the Grand Reverend's old physical body collapsed, its life force completely extinguished. At that exact moment, Ban Gongswa, the Grand Reverend's version, suddenly snapped his eyes open, a divine light shooting from them. The two worlds of light and shadow instantly shattered. The paper people and paper horses spontaneously combusted, and the old man's withered arm hastily retracted. The Grand Reverend had successfully defied heaven and completed his reincarnation. The Grand Reverend has been reborn in a new body. One storm has just subsided, only for another earth-shattering tempest to brew on the horizon. Qin Mu, Ling Yuxiu, and the Little Fox, where will their destinies lead them? All will be revealed in the next installment. If you fellow Taoists do not wish to miss any heavenly secrets, immediately subscribe to the 1991 Review channel right now. Don't forget to like and share this video to give us more motivation. Greetings and see you all again